All right, everyone, welcome to the Campus Manager Fresh Prince podcast series. We are joined today by two very special guests. As you guys know, I'm Santi. I run the Campus Manager operations team here at Fresh Prince. And today we have the luxury and privilege to welcome Laken and Nick. Hey guys, how we doing? Get those goosebumps and nervousness out of the way. This is going to be a natural combo. Very excited to talk to you both. Laken, you're a business development manager here at Fresh Prince, or BDM, as we like to call them. Would you just tell us a little bit about yourself and also tell us, what do BDMs do at Fresh Prince?
Yes, absolutely. Like Santi mentioned, my name is Laken. I have been with Fresh Prince for quite some time. I began as a campus manager in June of 2017 when I graduated college. I was a campus manager at The Ohio State University. Go Bucks. I was a campus manager for all 4 years of my college career. And then the summer after I graduated, I became a BDM full-time in August of 2021, and I have been a BDM ever since. I manage a wonderful team of campus managers at about 13 different schools all over the country, and I oversee everything that they do, and my job is really to coach and mentor them through their campus manager experience. And Nick is one of my amazing campus managers. He's currently actually my top campus manager. So Nick, I would love if you can go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit.
Yeah, so my name's Nick. Like Santi said, I'm a junior at the University of South Carolina, and this is my almost third semester, I guess, as campus manager. Kind of my second full one. Like I said, I'm a junior. I've been here for almost a year and a half, and I work under Laken. I'm an advertising major at the University of South Carolina. I'm from Sandy Springs, Georgia.
And it's such a pleasure to have you, Nick, here. And the reason why we have you here today, let's break it out to the audience, is that you had the highest grossing first semester ever as a campus manager in a 12 plus year history of this company, which is remarkable. You hit $265,000 in your first full semester as a campus manager. We'll definitely get into that semester and how did it all happen in a little bit. But before we get to that point, I just wanted to get a sense of when you started. How did it all go? How did you feel? Basically, talk to me about your first 30 days as a campus manager.
Yeah, so first off, before I was a campus manager at Fresh Prince, I was actually on the whole customer side of it. So I got to see both sides of being a customer for Fresh Prince and also now being a campus manager, which is pretty cool. But my first 30 days, I started December in 2024, which is pretty awesome. And I came into this, so I was like, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what's really going to happen. My first 30 days were definitely interesting compared to what I do now. It's super different. I came into it, I had a few leads, I had a few accounts. I was like, okay, this isn't something I might not take too seriously, or I might take it too seriously. I didn't have a ton of expectations for myself. And my first 30 days were fine. I didn't do too much in sales when I first started, but I really enjoyed it. And I was like, this is something super cool that I really like. But I'd say really at the end of the 30 days, it started to take off, which is super awesome. But like I said, I came into this with like a few leads, a few clients. I didn't really expect much. It's totally different than what I do now. It was really cool, really interesting. I just don't do what I did then. It's very different than what I did then. So it was very interesting, I didn't really know what to expect when I first came into it.
I love this question because I think it's so interesting. But looking back now, obviously you've created a lot of success. What do you feel like you were bad at early on?
I think really the hardest thing for me, which I've told Laken this before, is I really didn't know how to talk to these people. Like, especially, I think the big thing with Fresh Prince is we work with these big sororities and these fraternities. And when I first started, I worked with fraternities, and it's like, I'm a guy in a fraternity. I know how to talk to these dudes that are in other fraternities. It's not a big deal. It's whatever. Like, I do that daily. But she gave me a few sororities to work with. I was like, this is kind of interesting. Like, I've never really had to do this before, and I don't really know how to talk to these girls, what they want to do. So my biggest thing was kind of like, I'm kind of uncomfortable talking to these girls, and it's kind of weird. And then I learned how to do that, and I was like, this is where it starts to take off. So my biggest thing was really learning how to like figure out what these sororities want, what they want to do, just kind of, I don't know, be friends with them, get to know them, and not be, super weird or uncomfortable about it. So that was a really big thing that I was like, wow, I never thought I'd have to do that, but it's really crucial when being a campus manager.
If somebody looking in from the outside saw your first 30 days as a campus manager, do you think they ever would have guessed that you were going to be able to do $265,000 in one semester?
Like, absolutely not. There's no way. I like literally when I first started, I honestly, like I said before, I was like, I don't know how serious I'm going to take this or how successful I'll be. I don't think anyone would have thought that like whatsoever. My first 20-ish days, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just kind of cold texting all these different people, kind of trying to figure out what I'm doing here, what I need to do. So if you saw me then and then saw me now, you'd be like, this is a totally different person. Like, there's no way this would have happened.
For the record, I believe wholeheartedly that you could hit $65,000. For the record, what surprised you the most about the campus manager role from that initial mindset of not really knowing what you were getting yourself into? What did you maybe like misunderstand? Like, about what it would take to be this successful in the role, or just how the role was going to be in a general sense?
Yeah, I think really just like the big thing was my time commitment and really making sure that I'm organized as a person with my schoolwork and organized as campus manager. I didn't expect the time commitment to be what it was. Like now I make sure that I only have class a few days a week. So like say, for example, last semester I had class Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So Tuesday, Thursday, I could really focus on just like Fresh Prince, campus manager stuff with clients. If I had to think about that when I first started, I would have had no idea. So just really for me, the time commitment was something I didn't think was going to be a huge thing. And it really is. And being able to figure that out and being able to do it right really paid off. So that's really stuff I always think about all the time. I'm like, wow, the time commitment and just the work I've put in is something I didn't expect. And it's really paid off, which is super awesome.
Wednesday. That's something that it's so interesting that you bring it up, Nick, because obviously, as you guys know, my teams handle the onboarding and the interviewing and the training of campus managers. And we know for a fact from data, from anecdotal evidence, that time management is what CMs struggle with most at the beginning. And that's something like a code that you need to crack in order to find success early. Were you a bad time manager early on? Or you say you were surprised by the how organized you needed to be yourself in order to find the time to do the work. But like, walk me through your experience with time management before, and if you had to adjust so quickly, how quickly did you realize that you needed to adjust, and what were some of the things that you did in order to adjust and to be better at it?
So even before college, I'd say in high school, I was a horrible time manager. Like it was not my thing whatsoever. My mom especially would always be like, you got to get your stuff together. And when I came to college my freshman year, I was like, all right, I got to learn how to manage my time, plan out everything. I never touched a Google Calendar in my life or a physical calendar. I was like, this is something that I'm going to need. So really my freshman year of college, I learned like, you got to manage your time. And then my sophomore year, last year when I first started, I was like, wow, now you really got to know how to manage your time. So just being able to like actually like have a calendar, which is something I never had. Like last year, I had literally a physical calendar on my desk because I can't do anything without this. Like it's so important. I'd write out my week, my months, and then working for Fresh Prince, we have the amazing Google Calendar, which has been so great. So learning how to use that was just so important. And I'm so glad that I told myself, you got to be able to do this to, get through college and then being able to go to Fresh Prince and as a campus manager do that as well. So I didn't think it was going to be like that, but thankfully throughout college, I've learned how to manage my time.
You just mentioned, I think, a small little secret that I don't know if anyone knew out there, maybe outside of Laken. You had a physical calendar your first semester, and that's how you got to $265,000?
I did. It was a massive calendar that my computer would sit on my desk. So
this is a relic that we need to make, and make it to frame it or make a statue out of it or something. Do you have that somewhere with you right now?
It's not,
or no, it's thrown out?
Yeah. Oh. I was like, this is kind of embarrassing that I have this, so I had to get rid of that.
No, they would have been worth millions.
Fun of him on a couple of occasions for the paper calendar situation.
Yeah, I'm sure you saw it.
It's okay.
Okay, well, bummer that we don't have that, but we can picture it. We know how that looks, and we know that's very antiquated, and we're happy that you upgraded to a digital one at this point. Yeah.
After this, I'll kind of pass this next portion off to Santi, but when do you really feel like from those first 30 days, from really just becoming campus manager and understanding the role, when do you feel like things kind of clicked? When do you really feel like you had that kind of aha moment that you were going to actually like dominate and be like a next level campus manager?
So a lot of people don't really know this, but when I first came on as campus manager, Laken was not my BDM. I was with Dylan for about 2 or 3 months when I first started. And he and I set a goal of $50,000 my first like half semester I worked here. And I did my first like big sale for me with Alpha Gamma in my school. And it was like a $7,000. When I did that, I was like, wow, this is really big. Like, this is kind of crazy. And the second I saw that, I was like, I can do this over and over again. And I know if I do that, I'll be successful. And it's like, when I was first starting, I had these $1,000 orders. I was like, this is crazy. Like $1,000 is unbelievable. When I see that now, it's like, wow, I really was going that crazy over $1,000 order. It's just totally different. But my big thing was really when I saw that first massive, like $7,000, $8,000 with Alpha Gamma, I was like, wow, if I can do this more often, I know to do this correct, I can take off. So that was kind of my big thing. And even Dylan was like, dude, this is a big order. You can do this. Like, this is great. And then from there, I was like, wow, I can really lock in. I can get this done. And I can, take off from there. And that's really what helped me with my massive full semester as a CM.
Is that what like clicked for you? Like at that point when you got a big order and you're like, wow, like these big orders really make a difference. Oh, yeah. They, eat up all this chunk of my goal that I need to meet. Is that what motivated you to consciously decide to dominate that semester?
Yeah, absolutely. Like that first big order. And it's also like part of this, you get commission too. It's like, if you do a big order like that, you're getting commission off that. It's like, I'm making money. That's a huge thing as well. If I'm getting commission off these massive orders, I'm getting paid, pretty well. It's like, if you can keep doing that and you want to go after it, like that's all I needed to do. That's all I needed to know was the commission. And then I could just attack that sales goal from that. It was perfect. It's like, I can go after this and I can excel.
Love that. And I know you don't want to draw comparisons in general, but like, there are other 700 campus managers in our team that that, and thousands over the years that you beat early on with this remarkable first semester. What would you say there were some things that you were doing early on that really separated you?
I think my big thing was I'm really good with follow-ups. Laken can vouch for this. My phone is full of just random numbers, especially when I first started and I had these cold leads. Like I need to find out who to text, who to not text. I would go on Instagram, LinkedIn, different websites, and I'd find all these different phone numbers and contacts to reach out to. And if I don't hear from them the next day, I'm texting. I don't care if they think I'm annoying or I'm bugging them. It doesn't matter. If I can do anything like that to really, get a lead with someone and get to know them and potentially close a sale, like I'm going to do that. There was an order we had last year during recruitment where I texted a girl 17 times before she responded. She finally answered and it was a $15,000 order. So, I mean, as annoying as it sounds, it's like, I'm going to be annoying if that means I can build a relationship with this person and I can close a sale with them. So that's really a big thing that I think separated me from everyone else.
Yeah. The only context in which texting a girl 17 times is not weird or creepy at all. So we talked about it earlier on. Laken, take it away. Let's talk about that big semester next.
Gosh, this is my favorite topic, the 265. So obviously you had a massive record-breaking semester, but what I think makes it even more special on top of that is that it was your first full semester. So what did you do to really conceptualize how big of a goal you were going to go after? I know you and I obviously talked about this a lot, but I'd love other people to really try to understand, when you realize you're going to go for a record or you're going to go for a number that's essentially something that, is nearly unheard of for first semester campus managers. Where did that really come from?
So I think the big thing was the campus manager that, I worked under as a customer, Elizabeth, or Hutch, as everyone knows her. She was great. She was awesome. And I saw what she was able to do. And she was, she did really the whole market here. I was like, wow, that's really incredible. And when I saw that and I interviewed for the campus manager, I came on here, I was like, wow, I can do the same thing. And I can honestly do better. I went over to Laken and we talked for our first time, our first meeting as a BDM and CM. She was like, I've seen what you can do. You can crush this. So I think one really huge thing is the success I had in my first, 2 months of that half semester I did was super awesome and encouraging. I'm like, I can really roll this over to a full semester and, take this on and do amazing things with it. Laken was super supportive about it. She always is. She's going to, she does this all for campus manager. She's going to push them, make them the best they can be. And that's what she's done for me. And also just in that fall semester, thinking about what's going on, the events that these organizations have, especially, sorority recruitment here at my school is so massive. Knowing that that's coming up in the end of the semester and that's going to really push me to do those massive sales, I'm going to obviously want to go for that. I just know that there's massive opportunities and I can take them. Why would I not want to do that? So it's just really, I knew it was happening and knew it was coming up, and just the success I had in the first 2 or 3 months in that half semester really motivated me to be able to do what I did that next semester. So pretty awesome stuff.
Amazing. I really like this question because I think it gives newer campus managers a sense of how mindset can really change a lot of things, right? And you kind of hinted at this when you were talking about follow-ups, but any other areas where you feel like it's really easy for a campus manager to take a certain component really casually that you feel like you really take seriously and lock in on and focus a lot on, that you think is a big difference maker?
Yeah, I think a big thing is really actually, you're not just texting a customer or client just to get in order with them, build a relationship with them. If you build a relationship with them and you get to know them, they're going to trust you and they're going to want to work with you. That's so important. And especially I feel like it's different when, there's a sorority girl texting another girl that's a CM, and obviously they're both girls. They know what they're talking about. If you're a sorority girl texting a random guy that doesn't really know what's going on, you're not going to always trust him. Quite honestly, you're not always going to be hey, he doesn't know what he's doing, all this stuff. If you can really build that relationship with her and she can trust you and know hey, I can work with him and he'll get me exactly what I need, that is so important. So that's another really big thing that I've really prided myself in, especially now when new exec boards take over, there's new people in charge. It's trying to make a relationship with these girls. It's super important to, build a relationship with them and make sure that you can get what they need, and then it just takes off from there. So
amazing.
That's such a good point, Nick. What we also tell candidates when they apply to be a campus manager is, what is the most important part of this role? And it is to build relationships with your clients. The difference between managing a client's relationship and account over time versus just selling to someone on a one-off basis, right? And the reason people come back, and I don't know if would you agree with the statement, I'm sure you do, but you can talk more about it. People come back and reorder with Fresh Prince and with you because of you, right? Because of the campus manager. They might think our design tool is awesome, our lookbooks look amazing, but ultimately, like you said, they trust the person that they worked with, right? Would you agree with that? And has that been your experience overall?
Absolutely. And I think an example of that was literally before I got on this meeting meeting this morning. It was like 11:30, and I was texting the merch share in FIMU because she was doing this drop for her girls, and she was like, "I've got a question," and I was like, "Just call me." Like the fact that she has the confidence to call me and she trusts me, it's like you don't need to just text me. You can call me. We can chat. Literally, we got in a 60-second call, like on the phone, and it was that simple. It's like she is, she trusts me enough to call me on the phone, talk really quick. She doesn't need to just text me. It's super important. I think it really is just super important to build a relationship with them, and then you're good from there.
That's such a good point that we don't really think about nowadays in this age where like if you're comfortable enough to call someone, that's a massive leap, right? Versus just texting someone.
Exactly. Totally agree. Especially like if it's a random person in a college you go with, you're not always going to know what to do. I think it's just super cool. Really is super cool. And it's like they trust me. It's really awesome to see. And it's really nice to hear every day.
Love that.
Amazing. Obviously, I think something a lot of people probably assume is when they see your numbers and they see your sales that you have it all together and you're essentially like the perfect campus manager, and you are absolutely perfect in my eyes. One thing I think is really important is to admit everyone has slow weeks. Everyone has slow times. Things obviously change. We're in a market where it's up, it's down, it's busy, it's not. There's different seasons. What do you think is really important for people to keep in mind, or what do you really try to do to keep yourself grounded during those slower periods so that you don't lose the steam to hit your larger goals?
Right. So honestly, I'm just going to say this semester going from December to January, I was in like kind of a slump where I was like, wow, I'm not doing anything right now. I'm kind of in a rough spot because I'm not closing any sales and there's not a ton going on. And I was like, what do I do right there? The most important thing, quite honestly, as a campus manager, especially going into the summer or going into the next semester in the spring, is just blocking in. Like it might suck that there's nothing going on. It's super slow and you can't close anything. But those few months, especially like we have VIP meetings. VIP meetings are so important. That's when they all kind of start. Being able to go through those months and plan out your semester and plan out who you're talking to and all that stuff, it sucks. It's not fun. You're not making any money. You're not really texting anyone. It's the most crucial part of being a campus manager. If you're going into the semester with no plans or not knowing what you're doing, you're not going to have a good semester, quite honestly. And that first real semester that I went into where I did the $265,000, that down period, it was horrible. It wasn't fun because there was nothing going on. But I planned that during that period, that 2 or 3 weeks, just planning, not really texting anyone, just planning out my semester. And it paid off. I mean, literally, I did that much money. It was crazy. So it's not fun in those down periods. And it's like, wow, I want to quit. I don't want to keep doing this. But it's really, it pays off. It really does pay off. So it's just super important to go in there, plan out your week, plan out your semester, and just know what you want to do that next time.
Yeah, filling the slow space wisely and being very intentional with the time that you do have. That not all of your time is going to be necessarily spent placing orders. You are going to have to set aside some extra time to actually do that outreach and do that planning. I think that's super. When you're looking, obviously, and I know Santi kind of talked about this a little bit, where, we have people that are in training that, have a difficult time management, or there are specific areas where they fall short and don't necessarily like really cross that finish line of going from trying the campus manager role to really being great at it, doing $200,000, $265,000. What is kind of the behavior, the habits that you feel like for you, if you were to look at other campus managers, what skills do you think would take a campus manager from being good to being great?
Honestly, I think really just like committing, like as crazy as that might sound. If you sit down and you think to yourself and you're like, hey, I can really like be a great campus manager, you could start, you're not doing too much. But if you sit down and just tell yourself like, and you talk to your BDM as well, and your BDM is always going to encourage you. If you tell yourself, I can be great, I can manage my time, I know exactly what I want to do, you can be great. I mean, really, it's as much as it's tough if you don't have a ton of accounts or a ton of leads, like mentally, if you believe in yourself and your BDM is always going to believe in yourself, you can be great. Like you just put your mind to it, put your time to it, and you're going to be amazing. I think that's so important. And that's not really talked about enough. Just like mentally believing in yourself and believing what you can do is so important for this job. And, there's rough spots, there's great spots. As long as you are mentally positive, everything around you is positive, you're going to be so great. You really are. So that's really a big thing for me. Like if I'm in a rough spot, I'm like, what am I doing right now? I just tell myself, dude, you've done this before. Like it's not the end of the world. You're going to be okay. And you just get right back into it and you're good. So
one of our favorite things to say on calls is, what do we have to lose? Right. We'll go after some spicy orders, some spicy conversations. And at the end of the day, Nick and I will be like, well, what do we have to say? What's the worst that could happen? So
yeah, love that. And going outside of the CM role, this, getting used to rejection, understanding that, you're not going to win everything. What has that changed in you from like a confidence perspective? Again, if you look back on Nick in December 2024, you're a lot more confident now. You stated that earlier. That is true. How is it different how does this role really make it different to like a traditional internship per se, or a traditional job on campus where you won't really be getting all of these confidence building skills that you would otherwise get at, from these experiences that you have lived through the campus manager role?
Really, I think this role is so special special. Like the campus manager role, you're not going to find anywhere else. Like it's just a job that it doesn't match anything, especially like a job on campus, a job off campus, a regular internship. It's just not the same thing. It really isn't. I really don't know how to explain it. It's just like working here compared to other places I've worked has been so amazing. And it's so different. And everyone here is so encouraging. Everyone here cheers you on, and something bad happens, you kind of just pick yourself up and it's okay. You move on. But this role is definitely, it's very different compared to anything else. And it's like a really good different. I don't really know how to explain it. It's just like, it's been really great to me. And compared to whatever else I've done, it's been so amazing and just great. So I don't know. It's kind of a tough question for me, but I've just had such a great experience here. And it's nothing else you'll find in the college world. A college student having this job is a gift pretty much.
I think you put it in great words. We'll take your word for it because you have been in the role now for a year and some change, and obviously found a lot of success.
So I think the last thing to kind of like bring this all together a little bit, at the end of the day, right, the reason we're on this podcast together is because we want to really give potential new campus managers or newer campus managers an opportunity to really like deeply understand a lot of the deep things that it takes to be at this level. And so kind of coming into the reality of it, what do you think, looking at new incoming campus managers or newer campus managers, what do you think a lot of people might underestimate about what it actually takes to perform at this high of a level? I know you talked a little bit about time commitment, but like kind of like the moments where like you're sacrificing, time to do things you don't necessarily want to do, but you need to do to be at that level. What types of things do you think that people underestimate about?
Obviously, I did, like you said, I said time commitment. I think time commitment is really a big thing. I could be in class doing stuff. I could be going out that night and I'm out, at the bar or whatever. And like I have to text someone back or I have to send someone a proof, stuff like that. So you're kind of sacrificing your own time to do this, which is, definitely different than what could be going on from another job. But I don't really I really think time commitment is really just a huge thing. Like time commitment for me was just so massive, and really it's what, I didn't really expect as a campus manager. And I really learned how to manage my time and learned how to really balance everything and see what was going on. And I think at this level, especially when I'm working with, 25 plus different organizations, like time commitment's everything, and learning how to time block, which everyone see that video in training, really great video, how to kind of just plan out your day, how to kind of go with your class, like how to plan your classes out and then balance it with your own work. Even on the weekends, I think the weekends are really important for this as well, where on the weekends, you want to go have fun all day. You want to do all of that. You really can't do that. I mean, you can obviously, but it's like, if you want to be at this level, you got to, be able to balance out time to work on the weekends, text people on the weekends, get stuff done on the weekends. It's just, people don't really see how much time's put into this. And for me, it's part of my day now, where it's part of my daily routine. And I love it so much. And that's something that takes time to get used to. At first, when I started managing 20 plus accounts, it was like, wow, this is kind of crazy that I have all these different people I'm texting. My phone's full of random numbers. And now it's like, this is what I do every day. And this is what I'm used to. So it's just kind of getting used to that bigger load of work and just knowing how to manage it pretty much. So
amazing. I know a lot of my team members, my campus managers, especially my new campus managers, definitely look up to you. They see your name on our team leaderboard all the time. They hear your shout outs in the group meet often. I know one of your really close friends, Baker, became a campus manager in the midst of your really large, crazy semester. He started as a new campus manager. When you meet new campus managers, I know I've had some people on my team that have met with you and talked to you. What do you see when you're on a call with a newer campus manager yourself? What do you see that they tend to struggle with the most in their first semester?
I really think it's I don't know, it's kind of tough as well. I think the biggest thing they might struggle with is being confident in themselves. Obviously it happened to me. When you come to this role, you're kind of overwhelmed almost. This is different. It's not, like I said before, it's not a job that a regular college student's going to have. It's a very special job, and it's a super fun and different job. I think the big thing is they're just adjusting to what's actually happening. And they're kind of taking wow, this is what I'm doing now. I'm doing custom merchandise for these massive organizations across my campus. And it's really it's a crazy thing to see that, you have a gift of doing. There's only 5 to 6 campus managers at a school, if that. And you're one of those 5 to 6 campus managers, which is super special. So I think it's a big thing when they're coming into it is they're almost scared, or they're just kind of taking this is what I'm doing now. And I gotta get used to this. But that's really probably what it is. It's just coming into it, just not really, expecting what's going to go on, and then they kind of learn what's going to happen. So
I think the overall theme of this episode, if I had to recap, Nick, your accomplishments don't come easily, right? You talked about your sacrifices and being at a bar and texting a client and splitting your time, your free time that you have as a college student that you could be otherwise doing other things, building your business and, doing right by your clients and keeping your operation going. That takes a lot of hard work. And obviously it goes without saying that we're super proud of that and super thankful for that. And you are really someone that has no limits at this point in this role. But if you haven't finished your campus manager cycle, you're just beginning to scratch the surface of it. But can you say already that it's been worth it for you?
Absolutely. I would honestly say the second I did that first massive sale back with Dylan, when I first started in the first 2 months or so, I was this is worth it. This is what I want to do. This is amazing. My whole training experience was amazing. Even my interview experience was amazing. And Dylan interviewed me as well. And I was wow, this is already super cool. And this is super amazing. So, really the second I closed my first big deal, I was this is totally worth it. This is super awesome. There's nothing better. The team was so amazing to me when I first joined. mind, it's like, this is exactly where I want to be, and this is exactly where I wanted to do. And it was worth it in the first place. And, now after that first massive semester I had, like, it's even more worth it. So this role is totally worth it. You can take whatever you want to take out of it, but whatever you take out of it, it's going to be worth it in the future, no matter what you take out of it. So
cool. Love that. Thanks so much, Nick. That's it, folks. Thanks for joining, and thank you, Nick, for making time out of your Friday for this call. And then, we'll catch you all the next time.
This was so fun. Thank you.
Thank you.